In this video, I'm going to be talking about one particular issue that has made it impossible for a lot of persons not to be able to invest and build wealth through real estate. As a matter of fact, for some persons, all through their life, this particular issue will make it absolutely impossible for them to be able to own real estate. Don't assume it's money, it is not money. So you want to make sure you watch to the end of the video so that you know what causes this particular issue, as well as learn how to avoid or deal with it in your lifetime so that it is possible for you to invest in real estate and start building wealth to real estate in this particular year. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raymond Ijoma and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. So if you like the real estate entrepreneur that is law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients. And this video is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, a real estate company right here in the very city of Abuja. And we bring you the absolute best of real estate here in this city. And you can count on us to give you not only the best investment opportunities, but also to teach you and educate you so that you know how to safely and rightly invest in this city, this tricky real estate sector of Abuja. So do subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment, and stay in touch with this channel. So let's get right into the conversation. So some of you are going to assume that money is usually the issue. To be frank with you, I do not think so. It is my opinion, of course, but from experience and having done this for a while, I do not think money is naturally or primarily the issue that makes it impossible for a lot of persons to be able to invest in real estate. That particular issue, that particular thing is procrastination. Now, you may just want to end the video at this point and assume that you already know it. Don't worry, you're good. But I encourage you to watch the end of this video so that you understand and know this thing in real time, so that when you are manifesting this particular issue, then you know. And trust me, it not only affects you, it affects me as well. As a matter of fact, sometime last year, in fact, for the 3 times I've had to invest in real estate within November and this particular point in time, May 2024, I have had to almost, in fact, because I understand the trick of how procrastination works as it relates to real estate, I have learned to, because I understand it, I've learned to deal with it and then make the move as fast as possible before I lose the opportunity or get affected by the consequences of procrastination as it relates to real estate. In fact, I remember one major one, which was in November, like I mentioned. If I had missed, if I had not put in, if I had not invested that money at the time I did, 1 week later, I would never have been able to do so. And I would never have been able to also make my investment, a major investment I made in the year 2023. So this is something that affects everybody, even those in the business. So I want to show you how to deal with this particular issue. The very first major cause of procrastination as it relates to real estate is fear, naturally, because real estate is capital intensive. So for you or for anybody else, most likely you would have saved that money for, say, 1 year, 6 months, depending on how you're getting the money, right? It is not every time money just comes naturally to you and you can use it to put into real estate. So usually usually money for real estate usually comes from savings. So having saved money and you've been seeing it in your account for a while, it is natural for you to be afraid of investing that money or taking away that money from your account. So the very first issue for most persons is fear of losing money, fear of losing the money generally, fear of investing in the wrong hand, which ultimately is losing the money, right? So that is a major factor. Please pay attention to this one. Number two is trust. So you naturally may not be afraid, but the next question is, who can you trust? Which of course still boils down to the issue of fear, because lack of trust or not having somebody to trust can make you afraid of investing. So trust is another issue. Who can you trust? And the next is the land or what I have in mind, what I want to buy is beyond my budget. This can also lead to procrastination. In other words, at that point, you'd be like, okay, let me save more. Let me save more for that particular investment. This also naturally leads to procrastination. And the last one I have to mention here is ignorance. Ignorance can make you, okay, so let me know more about real estate. I don't know more about real estate, or I don't know about real estate yet. So let me know more about real estate. So let me work towards 2025. Let me work towards 3 months time. Let me research and know more about real estate. So this naturally can also lead to procrastination. I didn't put in money here. And the reason I didn't put money here is because for some locations in Nigeria, it is possible for you to be able to key into certain investment opportunities with as low as 800,000 naira. So, assuming you are privy or you have the privilege of investing in such locations, then at that point, it is safe to say money may also not be a challenge. Like I've always said, some of you may be aware, I got my first land at the age of 26, even though I was earning 40,000 naira as my monthly salary. So I just believe from that perspective, from my experience, that if I could buy land at that point, anybody could or can buy a land. So that is why I do not have the opinion that money is naturally the reason why somebody will not want to invest in real estate. So based on my conversation, I'll leave it at these four reasons or causes of procrastination. Now, what are the effects of procrastination? One way, I believe, one very strong way I believe you can deal with procrastination is by knowing the consequences of procrastination. Now, we're talking as it relates to real estate, right? One major effect or consequence of procrastination as it relates to real estate is that you may never be able to buy it again. You may never be able to make that investment. And that is because real estate is so if you want to, and then the fact that inflation also affects our economy, our economical realities, it makes it really difficult to do certain things or make certain decisions or do certain things here after delaying or procrastinating. But naturally, because of the fact that real estate is a global product, a global reality, what usually will happen is that when you procrastinate, when you say, okay, I'll buy it next year, or I'll make the investment next year, or I'll make it in 3 months' time, there is no guarantee that the price is going to remain the same. It depends on who you are, where you are, and the currency you earn in. What usually will happen is that because it's real estate, as you're saving up and hoping that you're able to buy it much later, your purchasing power is reducing. Whereas real estate, on the other side, as a product, the price is increasing, right? To the person who has invested, it is called appreciation. To the person who has not invested, it is called price increase, right? So at the end of the day, you just have to understand and appreciate the consequences of procrastination. So if eventually you never actually buy it anymore, next year comes, the same thing plays out, the same drama plays out. You also are not able to buy it. What will happen is that at the end of the day, you'll be losing on the entire benefits of real estate investment. And if you look at the benefits of real estate, you know that it is one vehicle or product that can help you build wealth. There is no wealthy man anywhere in the world that is not directly or indirectly involved in massive real estate investment. So if you want to escape the poverty trap, you must deliberately pay attention to investing in real estate. So if you decide whether deliberately or unconsciously not to invest in real estate, then you are also saying that you do not want to be wealthy and you most likely want to work for the rest of your life. Because what happens, or one of the benefits of investing in real estate, is that you're able to earn passive income, right? Or be able to generate some form of capital or money to do certain things much later, or maybe during your retirement. This is not a video to talk about the importance of investing in real estate, but one of the things that would happen is that when you procrastinate, and the procrastination leads to a complete inability to buy or make that investment, what will naturally happen is that you lose out of the opportunity to build wealth through real estate. I learned something very, very powerful over the weekend. I enrolled for a program, coaching program by Mr. Ogochukwu Umogo, and in that video, he gave an analysis of the fact that for you to be able to reach any level of financial goal in your life, particularly at a global standard, you need to have two vehicles: your work and your investment. Your work can be a job, your work can be a business, right? And then the investment, definitely where you put in money to be able to get returns. And then you don't want to talk about real estate without talking about investment. So what he said in that video was that God gave us a lot of things in twos. In other words, you have two hands, but of course one function. You have two eyes, but one function. You have two nostrils, but one function. You have two ears, one function. And then in the analogy, he further said that how life is designed is that you're supposed to have a balance between work and investment. In other words, you should never rely only on work, neither should you always rely on investment. So he made us stand, not, he didn't do that directly to us. It was in the course I was taking that he told the participants to stand up and then stand on one leg. In other words, stand on only your work, only your business without any investment. And over time, it was discovered that it was impossible for one to stand on one foot for a long time. In other words, what it means is that if you decide not to invest, you will be suffering that particular work, that particular business that you're doing, because, and then at the end of the day, you may not be able to cope or achieve any financial goal in life. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that investments are important and you want to go with the two vehicles so that you can build your way into sustainable wealth. One of the consequences of procrastinating is that you may not be able to buy it again. The next is that the price increases, right? And then as the price increases, of course, your purchasing power is reducing, like I mentioned. And at the end of the day, you also may still not be able to afford it, or you buy it at a higher price, even though you would have already been counting profit or returns on investment. And then the other one is that it gets finished. So here there's a light joke out there that land doesn't finish. The truth is that land doesn't finish, but land in certain locations doesn't remain there forever. Some persons say real estate is all about location, 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 but trust me, a number of other factors that must be added in that equation, and one of them is time. When you want to invest, in fact, let me use this analogy. Those who bought into Asokoro in the beginning when Abuja was just created, that was a great location to invest into, and those people are into a lot of money already simply by virtue of investing into Asokoro when Abuja was created. Now, Asokoro is still Asokoro. Asokoro is still a very great location. But if you want to make any real estate investment right now into Asokoro, you'll be looking at a lot of money. So there's a difference. The difference is time. So as much as location is important, location is important, you also have to look at when are you keen into that location. Typical example, we have products that we put out sometime in September 2023, and by May, people who key into that product have bought it or have gotten more than times two. Some of them 100% return on investment in between September 2023 and May 2024. Now, some person products are still available in that estate, but the truth is that those who bought in September 2023 will get more returns than those who bought May 2024 or thereafter. So time is also important. So as it relates to effects of procrastination, uh, if it doesn't get finished based on location, you will be buying it at a higher price. But at that point, you're not maximizing appreciation. So in dealing with procrastination, the first issue is fear. The truth is that there's risk in every human endeavor. So if you are afraid of losing that money, then you are also indirectly afraid of building wealth through real estate. So you have to decide which of the fear you prefer: fear of remaining poor forever and possibly retiring to nothing, or fear of building wealth and eventually being able to build the wealth. So you have to decide which of the fears you prefer to accept as your reality, because either ways there is fear in every human endeavor. You want to do it, there's a fear that you have to face. If you don't want to do it, there's a reality that is going to come after you decide to choose or decide based on fear. So you have to decide which of the fear you want to follow at the end of the day. So for that, I think that literally solves the problem, right? So what are you afraid of? You just have to look at it, face it. In fact, if you look at it critically, you realize that there's sometimes that you actually have been afraid of certain things, and then you do it afterwards and start asking yourself, come on, what was I exactly afraid of, right? So you have to just face the fear and face it by faith, but not in ignorance. And I'm going to deal with that, right? And the next is trust. The truth is, for trust, yeah, trust is end. All right, trust is absolutely end. Nobody demands for trust. But at the end of the day, you have to begin to learn to trust some persons as fast as you can. Because while you are hoping and praying that the savior is going to come, time is counting. So trust is something you have to find a way to deal with. And one way to be able to deal with trust, one tiny way to be able to look at the issue of trust is find out somebody who doesn't want to joke with his or her name, somebody who is super interested in his or her reputation, or a company or a brand that is absolutely interested, that if you see that they are intentional about building a brand, if you see that they are intentional about leaving a lasting impact, then they most likely are people who you can trust, or people who you want to do business with, or people who don't want to joke with their name. And because they don't want to joke with their name, they do not want to mess up with the trust that you will be giving to them. So I think on the issue of trust, you can find other ways to deal with that, but that's my opinion on the issue of trust. And the next one is that it's more than your budget. The truth is that um, things will always be more than our budget. That's just the truth. But we have to just focus on affordability. The one you cannot afford, leave it alone. Focus on the one you can afford. You can also key in through payment in installment. In other words, if you have 5 million right now and the land you're interested in is 20 million, why not key in or use that 5 million as initial deposit and then find a way to spread the rest across 12 months, 6 months, as the case may be. That way, through installment, you can afford what you could never or could not or wouldn't have been able to afford if you were going to pay outright. All right. So you can deal with the issue of budgeting by focusing, being humble enough to focus on what you can afford, and then also using the installment strategy. And the last is ignorance. Ignorance, that is why we take time as a real estate company, as a brand, to educate our audience, to educate everybody or people who are interested in investing in Abuja. Abuja real estate sector is tricky. It is not like every other sector, but it's a sector that can change your life if you invest the right way. In other words, as far as we are concerned as a brand, we have cured the problem of ignorance as it relates to real estate in Abuja. So all you have to do is check this channel or look out for the video where we talked about our Abuja Real Estate Investment Guide. It's a complete module series where I talked about everything you need to know about investing safely in Abuja. The very first link in the description section of this video, I'm going to drop the link to that particular video so that you can access everything in that playlist, so that you learn how to play safe as it relates to invest in real estate in Abuja. So as far as it concerns ignorance, you don't have a problem. We've got you covered as it relates to knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raymond Ijoma, and as you can clearly see, I am the lawyer that loves real estate. Or if you like, the real estate entrepreneur that is law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients. I'm hoping that with this video, you are able to deal with procrastination and get started as it relates to investing in real estate. Because if you start your real estate investment journey today and start it right, you will definitely be able to build wealth. It is only a question of time. So let's get started. If you're ready to do that, the numbers to reach out to right on your screen. Don't also forget to subscribe to this channel and stay in touch so that you don't miss out on any strategic investment opportunities that we share, or the educated videos that we put out here. So we're waiting for your call. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye-bye.